What's up, guys? My name is Cliff Wilson. I'm a professional natural bodybuilder and full-time bodybuilding coach. My clients have over 140 overall titles, 85 pro cards, 43 pro titles, and 6 natural world championships. My goal in the industry is to help people achieve their best, both physically and mentally. So if that's what you're after, this channel's for you. Alright guys, today I am joined by Laurin Conlin, IFBB professional bikini competitor, and has her master's degree in exercise science. Laurin, thanks for joining me here today.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, today we're going to talk about one thing that is a huge problem, particularly with female competitors. They're really guilty of this, and that is perpetual dieting.
Oh yeah. So as an athlete myself, I have been there. And as a coach, I see this so much with my female clients, and just in general, like through social media and like people's comments, and you can just kind of see how they're living their life. And it's really just like a huge problem. And while I'm not gonna sit here and say that I love being off season all the time, for the most part, I've accepted it, right? I think what happens, at least for me, and I could probably speak to a lot of females, once you've dieted for a contest, you know how that feels, and you know how that feels, right? So anything above that, you're kind of like, ah. So I don't want to say like you are unhappy when you're not that lean, but it just feels a lot different. So it takes time, it takes a lot of just mental strength to understand that you can't be there forever. And I've personally seen the consequences hormonally, you know, energetically, all those types of things when I have not, you know, gone and gained a healthy amount of weight. So I think it's kind of like a balancing act as far as like how you need to balance your off season with your on season physique.
Yeah, and you know, even though I am a male coach, you know, I work with a lot of female competitors. And something I'll see a lot is when I look at people's contest histories, I'll see a lot of women in particular, every spring and every fall, they're competing. Compete every spring, compete every fall. And yeah. A lot of times that isn't driven by actually wanting to get on stage, it's driven by trying to avoid seeing yourself in off-season shape. You're perpetually dieting.
Or you'll use the diet because you fell off after your last diet and you're like, oh, I gotta get back in shape, so I'm gonna do this show. Absolutely.
And even
that's the worst, y'all.
The women that won't maybe compete every spring and every fall, but then every event. Okay, so I do a bodybuilding show, or I do a bikini competition, a figure competition, and then, oh, my cousin's wedding is next week. I'm gonna diet for that, and I'm going on vacation in 4 weeks, and I'm gonna diet for that.
The Olympia's coming up, I have to be in a sports bra, this, that.
Yes, and this constant perpetual dieting, it does downregulate your metabolic rate. You will start to find that fat goes on easier and easier, and you will have a harder and harder time remaining lean. And all of this is trying to avoid that off-season look.
Yeah.
And I think a big issue too is really just not giving enough time to let yourself become accustomed to your off-season look. Would you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. And like I said, I was there. I was dieting for a few years straight, competing. Part of it was because I started at some point doing well, so then I was like, you know, you want to keep doing well. But part of it too was just like that constant, like, I want to get back on stage, I want to get back on stage. And now I've realized, after having consequences from all of that competing, that it's definitely not worth it. And your body does need time to recover metabolically and really hormonally, especially for women. So, you know, if you're always in these low body fats, and everyone has a different body fat settling point. So some people are naturally a little bit leaner than others.
Absolutely.
You know, so some people don't even have to diet for as long. Some people just kind of are just more already there, right? Other people, like myself, need to lose weight. I need to lose weight, you know, to get on stage. I don't walk around shredded, you know, this and that. So I think for a while, I was, you know, again, I was trying to avoid that, was uncomfortable. And when you're so used to like, oh, I have abs and like I look lean. And I think the biggest problem for females, and I've experienced this, I don't know if you can comment, but people, they don't even try to be mean, but they compliment you more when you're lean because it just stands out more. So someone's like, oh my God, you look so good. Like you're so lean, like this and that, like look at that. And I don't think that they're trying to be harmful, but if you can't take a step back and go, okay, this is good for right now, but this isn't forever, then you can really run into consequences. Because when I'm 20 pounds over stage weight, nobody's like, oh man, you look like amazing. It's usually when you're getting closer to that contest lean that things just stand out.
Well, and I think perspective is always really important, because you say 20 pounds over show weight is such a healthy look.
I know.
I mean, you're in your off season right now, and I think most people would say you are in great shape. You know, I think it's important for competitors to remember that your off-season look is still better than 99% of other human beings out there.
Definitely would agree with that. I think part of it too is just, you know, societal, obviously, social media, and then again, just kind of knowing where you've been. When I take progress pictures and send them to you, I know what I look like when I'm lean, so I'm like, oh man, this does not look like that. And let's be honest, nobody looks good in a posing suit and in their stage shots, like, unless they're lean. So it's just kind of like, ooh, I don't know about all this. But then you have to take a step back and go, okay, I like how I feel good, I look good in regular clothes, like I have energy, like there's pros and cons to everything. When you have shredded six-pack, you don't always have the best energy, you don't always have the best moods, but you might look good for a picture, so.
Well, I think it's also important to note that there's physiological changes and psychological. So when you are dieting all the time, and you're constant yo-yo dieting, and you get thyroid hormones dropping, cortisol rising, and it's not going to feel very good. Like you said, it's going to be harder to keep the weight off. But also the psychological aspect of your brain will sort of recalibrate to every situation. So when you go from very, very lean, contest shape, to less lean, it feels uncomfortable at first. It feels like you're heavy, but the longer you stay in that situation, the better and more comfortable you feel with it. And while I don't perpetual diet, I am a competitor myself, so I do, you know, I'm not immune to these effects. So a lot of times when I'll diet, and a funny story, when I did my last contest, I got really, really lean, and then slowly I came out of it and I was 8 pounds heavier. By almost anybody's standards, I was still absurdly shredded. I had glute striations still, and I had a moment where I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror and I was like, oh, you look horrible. You just look horrible right now. And then I stopped myself and I was like, no, you don't look horrible. What is wrong with you? My brain hadn't had time to recalibrate to my new situation. I think it would be similar to maybe somebody that didn't have a lot of money, and then if they were instantly given a lot of money or a very high pay, it would be this new situation to them. It would just be, they wouldn't know how to deal with it. And then after a while, it would kind of just be the norm, you know? And then it goes both ways in that situation. And you just really need to stay there for a little while and get used to it.
Get used to it. I think this is so important for competitors because what we're trying to do, we have to remember, is extreme. No matter, obviously, I know people will go, oh, you compete in bikini. I understand that that's not as lean as bodybuilding, but we still have to get fairly lean.
Yes.
It's still challenging, it's still not a normal body fat level to carry around. So depending on what division you're in, of course it'll be a little bit more harsh than others, but you have to remember that that end goal is only for that day or for those few weeks when you're competing. It's not for all the time. And that's why, you know, it's really important to kind of go into an off season knowing, okay, I'm gonna gain weight, this is okay, and you know, you shouldn't even try to stay at the contest level leanness when you're done competing. And I think some people do because they like fantasize about being that lean all the time. And trust me when I tell you it's not worth it. And you're gonna run into more harm than good because you are gonna do these up and down things. And then basically, like we talked about a little bit in the beginning, people doing shows like kind of year round, because what will happen is they'll do shows, it'll be really strict, and then they're like, oh, I'm so burnt out. And then they have a few weeks where they go back to normal, but maybe a little bit more than normal, and then they kind of gain a little bit more weight than they wanted to, so then they freak out, and then they think that a contest prep is gonna save those issues and fix everything. And that makes everything 1,000 million times worse, you guys.
I guess I would say there's two final points I want to touch on about perpetual dieting, and that's a lot of this pressure is also not just placed upon oneself, but from what you believe other people will think of you. And so people that feel the need to diet for every event, I can promise you right now, nobody at the vacation you're going on and nobody at your cousin's wedding is going to notice the difference if you're 140 or 135. Nobody is going to be able to tell. You are the only one that's going to know that number on the scale. And then secondly, I can promise you that your husband, your boyfriend, your significant other, he probably likes your off-season look better. Almost most guys say that they like the off-season look of their wives and girlfriends better. So stop.
I couldn't agree with that.
Yes, nobody, you need to realize nobody's putting this pressure on you. It's okay to spend time in your off-season look, get comfortable with it, eat enough food to make physique improvements, to get stronger, to build muscle, and then that way when you do diet down the next time, you're gonna look even better.
That's the whole point of all physique sports. So hopefully these tips are helpful, you guys. Cliff said it best with those last 2 points, I really think.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you joining me today.
Thanks. You.